Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the Intrust Bank Arena in Wichita, Kansas. And Monday Night Raw tonight, I thought it was a decent show in my opinion. Of course, Saturday night's main event is this Saturday, which I'm going to be reviewing the show this Saturday. So check out that for me on Saturday. But tonight on Monday Night Raw, we saw the Final Testament, where it was, Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain, and also the Miz teamed up with them to take on the Wyatt Six. We also had Liv Morgan in action, the Women's World Champion, and she had taken on Dakota Kai. We had another first round triple threat match in the Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament. It was Lyra Valkyria versus Nile versus Zelina Vega. And in the main event, we had an Anything Goes match. Rhea Ripley ended up taking on Raquel Rodriguez, former best friends. And we also had the New Day, trying to explain why they turned on Big E. And let's just say that the crowd gave the New Day, very good heel heat. And also let's just say that Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston have now surpassed Dominic Mysterio with heel heat from the fans. But the fans, I thought tonight there in Wichita was, very good during the show tonight. But overall, decent show for Monday Night Raw tonight. But before I get into the review, if you guys haven't checked out my previous video that I did last night, I did a live watch-along of How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 2000, starring Jim Carrey. One of my favorite Christmas films. Haven't seen it in a while, but saw it last Saturday in the theater at my Alamo Draft House and enjoyed it, still have fun with it. And we did the watch-along live last night. So if you guys haven't checked that out, definitely give it a watch. Very fun watch-along that I did with Luke Ponto, Huck, and Mike, and also Noah. So check out our watch-along of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And also join me tomorrow night on Luke Ponto's channel, where we're going to be talking about, movie news and, trailers that we have seen, upcoming physical media releases. So go to my buddy Luke Ponto's channel, give him a subscribe, and join us tomorrow night for the live stream. We'll be going live maybe like 8:30 maybe. So join us on Luke Ponto's channel there. So, but it's gonna be fun. Actually, 8 o'clock will be 8 o'clock Eastern. We'll be going live tomorrow night. So check us out. The Movie Fanatics is our title. It's the Movie Fanatics with Luke and Michael. So check out us on my buddy Luke Ponto's channel tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern. So just wanted to talk about that. But anyway, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw open up tonight with Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion. Gunther made his way down to the ring. Of course, they end up announcing that he has been World Heavyweight Champion for 128 days. And he's going to be taking on Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship this Saturday at Saturday night's main event from Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, which we all know that Balor is not going to be winning the title. So we had Gunther end up getting on the mic. He kept saying that Balor had made a great mistake. He kept saying whether he deserves it or not, Balor now has his undivided attention. He kept saying that Saturday night's main event will not end up like Survivor Series did. And if you remember last week at the end of Monday Night Raw, Gunther ended up beating Dominic Mysterio, and then after the match, Balor ended up attacking Gunther and laid him out with 3 coup de graces on him. So then that brought out Finn Balor. Balor ended up coming out along with JD McDonough, Dominic Mysterio, and Carlito. Balor got on the mic. He kept saying that Gunther could have given him the title match he deserves, but instead, he chose to mess with him and gave it to someone who didn't deserve it, like Dominic. So, Dom, we saw the look on his face. He did not seem too happy with what Balor said about that. So Balor ended up saying that he is the only reason Gunther is the champion right now, is the World Heavyweight Champion. He ended up saying that Gunther is right about one thing, and that Saturday night's main event is going to be nothing like Survivor Series. So Balor ended up saying that at Survivor Series, Gunther retained the title because of him. And at Saturday night's main event, he will lose the title because of him. So Balor ended up saying after 8 long years, he will walk out of Saturday night's main event as the new World Heavyweight Champion. So Gunther then ended up saying that Balor did not earn the title match, and that Balor's audacity of claiming any responsibility for him being the champion is what earned him the match this Saturday. Gunther ended up saying that he knows Balor is frustrated. Gunther ended up saying that 8 years ago, Balor became the first ever WWE Universal Champion. And then we all know what happened after that. Balor had to relinquish the title because he got injured. And we all know what happened after that. Kevin Owens became the second guy to hold the Universal Championship when he ended up winning it in a fatal 4-way. So Gunther ended up saying that at that point in his career, he looked up and respected Balor. He ended up saying over time, that respect faded. And it wasn't by his choice. It was because Balor cut corners and took shortcuts, aligning himself with the Judgment Day and hanging out with weirdos in a clubhouse. So Gunther ended up saying that Balor chose to play second fiddle to Damian Priest. He ended up saying that they're standing across from each other with no respect left. So Gunther ended up saying that 8 years ago, Balor was the best in the world for one night. Of course, when Balor won the WWE Universal Championship, become the first ever. So Gunther ended up saying that he is the best in the world right now, and for thousands of days to come. He ended up saying that the World Heavyweight Championship proves it. And Gunther here, he was coming off, like a baby face here, which was very weird to see Gunther, delivering this promo, being a baby face when we know that he's supposed to be a heel. But of course, a lot of people are like, oh, this is going to be heel versus heel. Balor's a heel, Gunther's a heel. So, of course, somebody has to be a face in this feud here. So, Gunther ended up saying that there is one reason Balor won't leave as the World Heavyweight Champion on Saturday. And that reason is that Balor isn't on his level and never will be. So Balor couldn't believe that. He ended up setting McDonough and Carlito and Dominic on the apron. So we had the Judgment Day all on the apron. And Damian Priest ended up coming out. Damian Priest ended up charging down to ringside. he took out McDonough and Carlito with a double clothesline on the ramp. Priest ended up sending Dominic into the barricade. Priest then attacked Balor and started fighting off the Judgment Day. Balor then ended up grabbing Priest. Priest started fighting back, and he ended up sending Balor into the ring. So Gunther then grabbed Balor and chopped him. Priest then superkicked Balor out of the ring, and then Gunther clotheslined Priest and started punching away at him. So Gunther went back to being a heel here by clotheslining Priest. And, they were making Gunther here like a tweener, where he's babyface delivering that promo to Balor and then being a heel by clotheslining Priest. So Gunther ended up sending Priest out of the ring, and he cleared off the commentary table. Gunther was sent up to deliver a powerbomb to Priest by putting Priest through the commentary table, but Balor ended up delivering a sling blade to Gunther on the floor, and then Balor connected with a Woo drop kick to Gunther into the ring steps. Balor then ended up attacking Priest. He ended up going to the apron to hit Gunther with the coup de grace. So Priest was in the ring. He fought off McDonough, Dominic, and Carlito. So Balor ended up taking Gunther down. He then attacked Priest in the ring. The Judgment Day then ended up attacking Priest in the center of the ring. And the Judgment Day ended up holding Priest up. Balor then ended up hitting Priest with the Woo drop kick into the corner. Balor then headed up to the top rope and delivered the coup de grace to Priest. Balor then ended up going up to the top rope again, delivered a second coup de grace, and then he went back up to the top again, third coup de grace on Priest. Balor then picked up the World Heavyweight Championship and one half of his tag team title, and he held both titles up in the air. And that was basically how the segment ended. But overall, I thought this opening segment here was just filler, just to get to Saturday night's main event between Balor and Gunther. Damian Priest coming out there, I'm like, it's rinse and repeat. Again, so tired of seeing Priest and Balor going at it. Please, can we move on from this? This feud between Priest and Balor has overstayed its welcome. Let's move on. And then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Finn Balor was shown celebrating with the Judgment Day. Adam Pearce came up to them. Adam Pearce ended up saying that this is a courtesy. And he was like, another Monday of the Judgment Day, wrecking havoc. So Adam Pearce ended up saying that as a result of the actions that we saw in the opening segment, he ended up telling Balor that the World Heavyweight Championship match this Saturday at Saturday Night's Main Event has changed. And Pearce ended up saying that it will be Finn Balor versus Gunther versus Damian Priest. So it's going to be a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. So Balor was not happy about that, and he ended up saying, fine. He ended up saying that it'll make it even more satisfying when he beats both Gunther and Priest to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. So Pearce ended up saying that since Balor is so concerned with the titles, he can lead by example. So Pearce ended up saying that next Monday, Balor and McDonough will defend the World Tag Team Championship against the War Raiders. So the War Raiders are getting their rematch for the World Tag Team Championship. And not only that, Adam Pearce ended up saying that the Judgment Day will all be banned from ringside. So we're going to have a fair match with Balor, McDonough and the War Raiders. Which I do hope we see the War Raiders win the World Tag Team Championship next week on Monday Night Raw, because Balor and McDonough, they only defend the titles twice before this was announced. So this will be their third time that they will be defending the World Tag Team Championship. But Balor was infuriated because of what Pierce had to say. Liv Morgan then sarcastically ended up asking Balor if he has any advice for them. Because when you listen to him, you win. So Balor ended up saying that he needs a few minutes. And he ended up walking off. So Balor is not too happy that he has to face Gunther and Damian Priest this Saturday and defend the World Tag Team Championship next week with JD McDonough against the War Raiders. But overall, that was that. And then we had the first match of the night. 8-man tag. The Final Testament. Karrion Kross. The Authors of Pain. Akam and Razor. And The Miz versus the Wyatt Six. Bo Dallas, Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, and Dexter Lumis. Didn't care for this match. This match was boring, in my opinion. I don't care about this feud with the Final Testament, The Miz, and the Wyatt Six. But the Wyatt Six end up charging the ring. They started brawling with the Final Testament. We had the Wyatt Six end up clearing out the ring, which left only Karrion Kross in the ring. So Uncle Howdy ended up going for the Sister Abigail on Karrion Kross, but Miz pulled Karrion Kross out of the ring, and so Monday Night Raw went to commercial. And there was a lot of commercials during the show tonight because we got the entrances, and then we got, maybe like a minute, 2 minutes tops of the match, and then it goes to commercial. So then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, the Authors of Pain, they were in control. They ended up attacking Joe Gacy. Akam and Razor ended up hitting Joe Gacy with the double team spinebuster. And we had Razor end up going for the cover, and Joe Gacy kicked out. Razor ended up smashing Joe Gacy's face off the canvas. He pulled Gacy up to his feet and started punching Gacy in his midsection. Razor ended up sending Gacy into the corner. Gacy started to fight back. He then hit Razor with a handspring spinning clothesline. So Joe Gacy tagged in Eric Rowan. Miz ended up tagging in. So Miz and Eric Rowan end up going at it here. Rowan ended up delivering a pair of clotheslines to The Miz. He took Akam out with a spin kick. Rowan ended up attacking both The Miz and Akam in the corner. And then he ended up sending both of them out of the ring. Rowan then hit the ropes, and he took out both Miz and Akam with a baseball slide. Rowan ended up getting Miz in the ring. He clotheslined Akam on the floor. Miz attacked Rowan as he got into the ring. He then ended up hitting a inverted clothesline to The Miz. He went for the cover, to which both Akam and Razor broke up the pin. So, Authors of Pain knocked the Wyatt Six off the apron, and they ended up hitting Rowan with a double team spinebuster. Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy ended up attacking both Akam and Razor, and Lumis and Gacy got them out of the ring. Joe Gacy then ended up hitting a suicide dive. Lumis came off the top rope with a trust fall, and he ended up taking a really rough bump to the floor. That looked crazy. So Uncle Howdy ended up tagging in. Uncle Howdy ended up running over Miz. Howdy then avalanched him, and he ended up hitting a hanging neckbreaker to The Miz. So Miz ended up trying to escape as he elbowed Uncle Howdy. Karrion Kross then tagged in. Uncle Howdy ended up elbowing Kross in the face, and he clotheslined him out of the ring. Uncle Howdy then ended up challenging Kross, and he hit the ropes. But Scarlett tripped Uncle Howdy. And that led to Nikki Cross appearing behind Scarlett. Nikki Cross was on the commentary table while Scarlett was, just facing forward. So Scarlett turned around. She freaked out at Nikki Cross. Scarlett got into the ring as she tried to escape from Nikki Cross. The Nikki Cross jumped off the ring steps with a Luthes press to Scarlett. So Uncle Howdy ended up going for the Sister Abigail on Cross, but Miz broke it up. Uncle Howdy then applied the mandible claw to the Miz. So then we saw Paul Ellering. Paul Ellering threw powder into Uncle Howdy's face. So Karrion Kross ended up hitting Uncle Howdy with the final prayer, and Kross ended up going for the cover, and there you go. The Final Testament ended up winning the match. And Uncle Howdy takes the L in the match here. But did not even care for the match. The match was boring, in my opinion. Was very uninteresting. And just the Wyatt Six here, they feel like they're being buried. That's how the way I see it. The Wyatt Six are buried because, you built them up so great in their return. And then you have them go at it with the Alpha Academy, with the Creed Brothers and Chad Gable. And you went from that to the Final Testament and the Miz. Really? A big step down for the Wyatt Six. So I don't know what's next for the Wyatt Six. Do they get another rematch with the Final Testament and the Miz? Probably they will. And then we had Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond ended up doing an interview with CM Punk, which was done earlier in the day. Jackie Redmond ended up asking Punk about the favor Paul Heyman owes him. Punk then ended up telling Jackie Redmond that it is a personal thing. And he goes back years with Paul Heyman. Of course, Punk is a Paul Heyman guy. So Punk ended up saying that, this is all personal. Jackie Redmond ended up telling Punk that last week. He said he doesn't think of Seth Rollins at all and how he will handle that. So Punk ended up saying that Rollins won't shy away from a fight. If you come at him, he'll swing. He ended up saying that Rollins' hatred of him confuses him. Punk ended up saying that he doesn't hate Rollins and that you have to talk about their history. He ended up saying you're talking about a 16-year-old Rollins coming to Punk and asking him to train him for free. He ended up saying that entitlement has carried over into the adult Seth Rollins, who wants to be the best in the world. Punk ended up saying that he remembers a time when Rollins was on the top 10 list of people to be fired from the company. Punk ended up saying that he shielded Rollins from that. Punk ended up saying that if he were in Rollins' place, Punk would hate him too. So Punk ended up saying that in his absence, Rollins did a good job filling in. So Punk ended up saying that now he is back, Rollins has to return to the bench. So pretty much that was basically the interview with Punk, from Jackie Redmond. But that was a good interview with Punk here. And then we had Dakota Kai. She had taken on Liv Morgan, which this was a solid women's match here. So the match got underway. Dakota Kai ended up quickly taking it to Liv Morgan. She ended up hitting Liv Morgan with some offense, and she ended up executing a jackknife pin, to which Liv Morgan ended up kicking out. Dakota Kai then charged Liv Morgan in the corner. Liv Morgan then dropped Dakota Kai over the top rope. Dakota Kai then ended up smashing Liv Morgan's face on the steel steps before going out to the floor. So then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Liv Morgan was in control of the match. We had the Pure Shit Collective, or the Pure Fusion Collective, headed to ringside. So we got Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, and Zoe Stark out there. Liv Morgan started up the Three Amigos on Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai countered the third suplex, and we had Dakota Kai hit a vertical suplex to Liv Morgan. She then started punching away at Liv Morgan and delivered a pair of clotheslines. Dakota Kai then followed up those pair of clotheslines with a jumping calf kick to Liv Morgan. Dakota Kai then sent Liv Morgan to the corner, and Liv Morgan ended up going down. Dakota Kai connected with a running boot. She then leaned Liv Morgan on the ropes and started stomping Liv Morgan's head. So Dakota Kai then sneered at Pure Shit Collective, and she lifted up Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan slid off. Dakota Kai connected with a scorpion kick to Liv Morgan, which looked nasty. Dakota Kai then ended up kicking Zoe Stark away. She then kicked Shayna Baszler. Dakota Kai then countered out of the Oblivion into a roll-up, to which Liv Morgan kicked out. Liv Morgan quickly ended up pinning the lung blower on Dakota Kai, which was followed by a running high knee in the corner. Liv Morgan ended up coming off the ropes, but Dakota Kai then ended up powerbombing Liv Morgan out of midair. So we had Sonya Deville get on the ring apron, to which Dakota Kai knocked her off the apron. Liv Morgan then avoided a kick from Dakota Kai, and she laid out Dakota Kai with the Oblivion. So there you go. Liv Morgan ended up winning the match. Post-match, the Pure Fusion Collective, the Pure Shit Collective, end up triple teaming up on Dakota Kai. But we got Damage Control, end up running down. We had Dakota Kai and Io, end up even in the odds. Io Sky end up knocking the Pure Fusion Collective out of the ring. Kairi Sane then came off the top rope with a cross body block to the floor on all three of the Pure Fusion Collective to Sonya Deville, Shayna, and Zoe Stark. Liv Morgan then ended up pinning Io Sky with a Oblivion, which spiked Io on her head. So, of course, Liv Morgan's going to be taking on Io this Saturday at Saturday Night's Main Event for the Women's World Championship. But overall, the match was solid between Liv Morgan and Dakota Kai. You know, the crowd was into it. And then we had a vignette from Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre ended up saying that Hell in a Cell was the most violent match of his career, and that he succumbed to blood loss. McIntyre ended up saying that he could have been on the Monday Night Raw after Bad Blood, but he had to go back to Scotland because his family needed him. He ended up saying that this year should have been his year, but he got screwed time and time again. McIntyre ended up saying that when he was in Scotland, he wondered if people were right. He ended up saying that he turned on Survivor Series and saw Roman Reigns standing side by side with CM Punk along with Sami Zayn and the Usos. He ended up saying that they all went back for nothing. And McIntyre ended up saying that at least Punk took a bribe. McIntyre ended up saying that's when he knew he had to come back and take out Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. McIntyre ended up saying that he cannot change the past, but can and will change the present and future. Really, I'm glad that Drew McIntyre is back on TV. So, really, I'm looking forward to, what's next that they do with Drew McIntyre. And then we saw Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes ended up coming out of Adam Pearce's office. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods greeted Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes ended up telling the both of them that they should be ashamed of themselves after what they did to Big E last week. Because when, at the beginning of Raw, you saw Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods coming into the arena, they were like, trying to shake hands with some of the crew backstage, but the crew wanted nothing to do with the both of them after the events that went down last week. So Cody Rhodes ended up, doing the same, saying that Kofi and Xavier should be ashamed of themselves. And then we got Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins made his way to the ring. The crowd Of course, doing whoa. Of course. So Rollins got into the ring, and he welcomed the crowd to Monday Night Rollins. He kept saying that they have a lot to talk about. Rollins then ended up telling Wichita to give it up for CM Punk. He kept saying that when Punk's days are done in the ring, he's got a career as a politician ahead of him. He kept saying that the interview that Punk gave earlier in the night was a masterclass in spinning the truth. Rollins ended up saying that you take a little truth and spin it to make yourself the victim. He kept saying that Punk has been doing that his entire life. And Rollins ended up calling Punk a fraud and a con man. So Rollins was like, if you want the truth about him and Punk, he'll give it to them. So Rollins ended up saying that he did ask Punk to train him. And at one time, Punk was the best in the world. He ended up saying that Punk helped him get his foot in the door. To which Rollins ended up saying that he respected Punk. And they were friends. Rollins ended up saying that if the story ended there, you might wonder why he hates Punk so much. He ended up saying that the part of the story Punk left out, and we'll tell you why. He ended up saying that when Punk walked out the doors of the company, he called and texted him as a friend. And Rollins heard nothing from Punk. Basically, Punk ghosted Rollins. So Rollins ended up saying that it wasn't just him. It was every person who was friends with him and worked for the company. So Rollins was like, if you didn't quit your dream job and your priorities didn't line up with Punk, you were evil. He ended up saying that's not the end of the story. Rollins then ended up going to say that for the next 10 years, all Punk tried to do was tear the company down. And, he's speaking truth about Punk because, when Punk walked out of the company and he was like, oh, I'm never going back to WWE. Oh, I want nothing to do with the company. But then he goes to AEW, and then, what happens there after, after All Out, that whole thing. And he comes back to WWE. Nope. So he ended up saying that Punk took all the pot shots he could. And that Punk only came back because he failed and burned every bridge that could bring him to water. He ended up saying also the money was right. So Rollins ended up saying that he used to chant Punk's name once upon a time. Because the crowd was, of course, chanting Punk's name. So Rollins was like, somewhere along the way, he realized that Punk was a fraud. And that he wanted to be better than Punk. So Rollins was like, everything Punk did in the ring, he did it twice. Rollins ended up saying that he also main evented WrestleMania, unlike Punk. So Sami Zayn ended up coming out. Sami Zayn was wearing Jey Uso's Yeet shirt. So, if you remember last week on Monday Night Raw, Sami Zayn accused Seth Rollins of attacking Jey Uso, but of course, it was revealed to be Drew McIntyre being the one, attacking Jey Uso. So Rollins ended up warning Sami Zayn, if he is out here to defend Punk, they'll start fighting. Sami Zayn ended up saying that they were both angry last week and fought in the ring. He ended up saying that's bound to happen every now and then when you've known each other as long as they did. So Sami Zayn ended up saying that it was wrong of him to assume Rollins attacked Jey Uso backstage. So Sami Zayn apologized to Rollins. So Rollins ended up saying that he's glad Sami Zayn brought that up because they've been friends for 20 years and that their kids play together. He ended up saying that when Jey went down, he was the first person to come to his mind. Sami Zayn ended up saying that Rollins was out of his mind when he was talking last week. And that wasn't the Rollins that Sami Zayn knows. Rollins ended up saying that he was talking like he was Drew McIntyre. And Rollins ended up saying that I am not Drew McIntyre. Sami Zayn ended up saying that Rollins is better than McIntyre. And that this thing with Punk brings out the worst in Rollins. Sami Zayn ended up saying that he knows he shouldn't have gotten involved with Rollins and Punk, and that he's here to let Rollins know that it's his business, and he can deal with it however he wants. So Rollins ended up saying that's all he wanted. So Sami Zayn was like to Rollins, "Are we good?" So we had the fans end up chanting, "Hug it out." So Rollins ended up saying to Sami, "Yeah, we're good, man." So Rollins ended up saying that he appreciates Sami, letting him handle his business with Punk. Sami Zayn ended up saying that he has business with McIntyre that he needs to handle. So Rollins then left the ring. Sami Zayn was in there. Sami Zayn ended up saying that's pretty good advice. He ended up saying that he's going to handle business with McIntyre. Sami Zayn ended up saying that he isn't going to listen to McIntyre complain about he's a martyr. And this will end as quickly as it started. Sami Zayn ended up saying that he already spoke to Adam Pearce, and that at Saturday night's main event, this Saturday, he will be taking on Drew McIntyre. There we go. Confirmed. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre this Saturday at Saturday night's main event. Should be a banger of a match. So Sami Zayn then left the ring, and he headed up the ramp. And from out of nowhere, Drew McIntyre blindsided Sami and started punching away at him on the stage. So, of course, officials end up having to come out to break it up between both Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. So that was basically that. But overall, I thought this was a good segment here. You know, Rollins coming out there saying about why he hates Punk so much. Of course, we're going to get, you know, the match between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. You know, that's going to be coming. And then Sami Zayn coming out there and just, you know, apologizing to Rollins. You know, thinking that Rollins ended up attacking Jey Uso last week. But, of course, it was really Drew McIntyre. But good segment it was. And then we had the first round triple threat match in the Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament. We had Lyra Valkyria versus Zelina Vega versus Ivy Nile. And this was just a very meh match here. But out of these three competitors, who would you all think was going to win this match? Ivy Nile? No. Zelina Vega? No. Of course it was going to be Lyra Valkyria. But in the end, Lyra Valkyria ended up hitting Ivy Nile with the Nightwing. She ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Lyra Valkyria ended up winning the match. She is moving into the semifinals of the Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament, obviously. So, but overall, very meh match and very predictable on who was going to win. So, Lyra's moving on. And as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly was backstage with The New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. Kathy Kelly ended up asking them about their intention to publicly berate their friend Big E. So Kofi ended up telling Kathy Kelly she is supposed to be a neutral party. And Xavier Woods ended up saying that this isn't going to be unbiased. So they'll speak to the people out there. So Xavier Woods took a camera from one of the cameramen backstage, and him and Kofi end up walking into Gorilla. We had, Xavier Woods end up pointing the camera to the mirror, that was, by Gorilla there. So they walked out into the arena, and we heard a chorus of loud boos from the crowd there in Wichita. The New Day has surpassed Dominic Mysterio with heel heat from the crowd. So, as Kofi and Xavier Woods headed to the ring, just loud boos continued from the fans there. There were fans chanting, "New Day sucks." And then they were chanting for Big E. So Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, they seemed generally confused on why the crowd was booing them. So Kofi ended up saying that after the 10 years of positivity they've given them, they're mad over one day, to which the crowd was loudly booing them. Xavier Woods ended up beginning to speak, but he was just booed down by the crowd. So the crowd was chanting, "We want Big E," and then, "New Day sucks." So Xavier Woods ended up saying that they didn't do anything to Big E. Kofi ended up saying that they could have taken a steel chair to Big E's back or a sledgehammer to his neck. So the crowd loudly booed Kofi and Xavier Woods. So Xavier Woods tried to speak again. Crowd booed the hell out of him. Woods then threw the mic, and Kofi and Xavier left the ring to loud boos. And Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston couldn't believe that the people were booing them. Well, you should understand why. He kicked Big E out of the New Day last week. But this was a very good segment here. Really like this. I'm looking forward to where they take Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, with them being a heel. Obviously, the whole thing with Big E here, if Big E is cleared to compete, we might see Big E enter the Royal Rumble. So if Big E is cleared and he enters the Royal Rumble, he'll be a surprise entrant, and he will take out both Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Now, if that is the case, we might see Big E take on Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, and they will build this to WrestleMania. And I think at WrestleMania, we will be seeing a 2-on-1 handicap match between Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Big E. And I think this is going to lead to Big E coming back and, uniting with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. That's how the way I see that going. But like I said, very good segment this was, and Kofi and Xavier have surpassed Dominic Mysterio in heel heat. Main event, anything goes match. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez, former best friends. And this was just a very mid-match, in my opinion. This match started at 9:50 as, the bell rang. So yeah, like 10 minutes of the match. So the match was a mess, in my opinion. So as Raquel Rodriguez made her entrance out, Rhea Ripley ended up attacking her. So Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez brawled into the crowd. Raquel sent Rhea Ripley into a barricade and started clubbing Rhea through the crowd. Rhea ended up bouncing Raquel off the barricade. She then chopped away at Raquel and sent her to ringside. Rhea then threw a trash can into Raquel's face and got her into the ring. So Rhea Ripley ended up attacking Raquel with a kendo stick because there was a bunch of chairs and kendo sticks in the ring that Rhea Ripley ended up putting in there when Monday Night Raw was at commercial. So Raquel pulled the kendo stick away from Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley booted Raquel back, and she ended up hitting a missile dropkick to Raquel off the top rope. Raquel then rolled out of the ring to recover. Rhea then connected with a running baseball slide. Rhea Ripley then ended up going under the ring, and she ended up pulling a table out, to which the crowd cheered because we all know how much the crowd loves when a superstar pulls out a table because, they all start chanting, "We want tables." So Raquel then ended up attacking Rhea Ripley from behind and sent her into the ring steps. Raquel then ended up hitting Rhea Ripley with a forward slam over the commentary table. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez end up taking each other out in the middle of the ring. So both of them were down. Both women ended up getting back up. Rhea Ripley delivered a short-arm clothesline to Raquel. Rhea Ripley ended up kicking Raquel in her head, and she ended up throwing the chair at her. She kicked the chair into Raquel's face. So Rhea Ripley ended up charging at Raquel. Raquel ended up kneeing Rhea Ripley in her face. Raquel then connected with an alley-oop into the corner to Rhea, which Rhea ended up kicking out. So Raquel ended up appearing to be bleeding from her eye. Rhea Ripley ended up stacking some chairs. And Liv Morgan ended up running down to cause a distraction. Raquel then ended up attacking Rhea Ripley and set up a chair with the legs up. Raquel ended up going for a slam, but Rhea Ripley ended up getting out of that, and she ended up trying for a riptide, to which Liv Morgan broke that up. And Liv Morgan ended up hitting the Oblivion to Rhea Ripley. Io Sky ended up running down, and Io ended up hitting Liv Morgan with a springboard missile dropkick, and then followed up with a wild suicide dive to her. So Raquel ended up going for the cover, and Rhea Ripley ended up kicking out. So Raquel set up a table, and she was going to go for the Tejana Bomb on Rhea Ripley, to which Rhea Ripley got out of that, and Rhea Ripley ended up sending Raquel headfirst into a chair that was wedged in the corner. Rhea then ended up hitting Raquel with the riptide through the table. So Rhea Ripley ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Rhea Ripley ended up winning the match. Post-match, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky both grabbed the Women's World Championship, and they looked at each other. And that was how Monday Night Raw went off the air. But overall, this Anything Goes match was a mess. It was very mid, in my opinion. But that ended with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky both grabbing the Women's World Championship. It looks like maybe, Rhea Ripley might win the Women's World Championship at Saturday night's main event by defeating Liv Morgan, which I hope that's the case. And if Rhea Ripley beats Liv Morgan, there's your next competitor. If Rhea Ripley wins the title, Io Sky. So that should be good there. But overall, Monday Night Raw, decent show it was tonight. But anyway, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Like I said, be sure to check me out on my buddy Luke Ponto's channel tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Join me and him over there as we discuss, movie news and, stuff coming out on physical media, trailers that were released. So join me over there on his channel tomorrow night. And also join me here on my channel on Wednesday, of course, for AEW Dynamite. So until then, see you all later.